Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, October the 10th. It's race number 7 at Keeneland, the Grade 2 J.P. Morgan Chase Jessamine Stakes. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. This race, a Breeders' Cup Challenge Series win and you're in for the Juvenile Fillies turf. Let's take a look at this field. It is an overflow field. It looks like a really solid betting race, and we'll take the field in post position order, beginning with the number 1 Lucky Girasol. This is a Keeneland grad, 50-1 on the morning line. No surprise, she was 97-1 and 107-1 in her last 2 races. Now, as a $3,500 yearling purchase, she's actually turned out to be a nice purchase. She is already stakes placed on the dirt. Her dam's a grade 3 placed synthetic router. She's a half to a grade 2 placed horse on the dirt, but she's basically exposed after 8 lifetime starts, is yet to run a fast race, and is yet to hit the board on turf. She draws a nice inside post position, but she is a deserving long shot in the Jessamine. The number 2 is Zalia, another Keeneland grad, 15-1 on the morning line for a Brad Cox trained entrant, and that's value for a barn that wins at 28% and usually does well with maiden winners on the turf stepping up to face winners for the first time. Her dam was multiple grade 2 placed going long on the turf. She's by Scat Daddy, so she's got the connections, she's got the pedigree, and she was visually impressive winning her career debut at Kentucky Downs. But the race came back slow, only a 55 buyer speed figure, and I don't think she was beating much in that race. She is taking a giant step up in class, but there are some things to like about the number 2, Zalia. The number 3, Speedy Solution, is a Ken and Sarah Ramsey homebred by Real Solution, winner of the Manhattan on the turf. The dam's a half to the grade 1 stakes winning synthetic router, We Miss Artie, so distance wasn't expected to be a problem for this filly, and it was not when they stretched her out for start number 2, and she won her maiden at Saratoga. Now, she did get a fast pace according to Timeform US to close into. She benefited from that pace, and she scored as the favorite. The 6th place finisher from that race came back to finish second in a maiden special with a 63 buyer. Speedy Solution is going to appreciate the distance, going to appreciate another fast pace, but she also will have to run much faster, only a 59 buyer for that maiden score. Now, the 4 Concrete Rose ran fast in her career debut, an 82 buyer speed figure for trainer Rusty Arnold. She is by Twirling Candy from the female family of the graded stakes winning turf runner Lover's Knot. This filly received a beautiful ride from Jose Lizcano in the career debut, going 5.5 furlongs. She didn't break very well from her inside post. Jose had her in the 2-path near the back, decided not to go wide, moved to the rail, then came out in the stretch, and despite Concrete Rose racing greenly very late to change leads in the stretch, she was able to inhale a next out winner. It was a fast race. She was aided by a fast pace and a great ride, and now she has to stretch out from 5.5 furlongs to 1 mile and a 16th. So there are some things working against her here, but 6-1 seems fair. She is just going to have to stretch out from 5.5 to 1 mile and a 16th. The 5 is Lights, Camera, Action. This is a daughter of Will Take Charge out of a half-sister to Cross Traffic, a grade 1 stakes winner on the main track. This horse earned a grade 2 placing most recently on dirt, although beaten 21 lengths by the very good 2-year-old filly Serengeti Empress. I have a feeling she's okay on the turf. Stakes placed 2 starts back at Kentucky Downs, but her buyer speed figure is still very light for trainer Kenny McPeak after 6 starts. The best fig only a 61. The number 6 is Paquette, trained by Todd Pletcher, who won the Bourbon with a last out maiden winner earlier in the Keeneland meet. This is a Keeneland graduate, 8-1 on the morning line. John Velasquez takes the mount. The second dam here was a stakes winner in an off-the-turf race going long, so distance, again, not expected to be a problem for the second lifetime start. And I like the fact that she was able to stay close to a relatively good pace. You look at those fractions and you see 24 and 150 and a half, and you don't think it's fast, but that ground was yielding, and Timeform US agrees with me that that pace was faster than average for that class level. Paquette was able to stay close. She blew by in the lane. The Pletcher barn heating up with the 2-year-olds, especially on the turf, and Paquette has the tactical speed to perhaps work out a good trip. And again, while her figs are a little bit light, these 2-year-olds can jump up from start to start. The number 7, Princesa Karolina, has just a lovely pedigree. She is a daughter of the great stallion Tappet. The dam was a multiple grade 1 stakes winner routing on the turf, and in fact was second in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare turf. Princesa Karolina, she won her turf and route debut at Saratoga, although being aided by a fast pace up front. Ken McPeak does excellent work when adding Lasix and tinkering with his 2-year-olds. That's what he's doing here with Princesa Karolina, who, as we take a look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector for this race, is going to get a fast pace. She is expected to be last in the early portion, but you see by that red bar that might not be a terrible thing at all if the 4 and the 12 battle it out on a fast pace. Princesa Karolina has the pedigree, the connections. Now she gets Lasix for the first time. Interesting horse at a price at 12-1. The number 8 City Diva is 50-1, and she is getting a makeover for the Jessamine. Blinkers off, Lasix on. She's in mid-pack according to the Timeform U.S. pace projector, maybe because of the blinkers off, but in both of her route races thus far, she has been on the lead. I would not be surprised if she is forwardly placed once again, sitting perhaps where the 13 is on your Timeform U.S. pace projector. She finished 3rd behind Lights, Camera, Action and the Juvenile Fillies last time out. Maybe she moves up with Lasix, but at a big price, I don't want to talk anyone off a horse at a big price, but she's going to have her work cut out for her with a fast pace expected. The number 9 is Moravia, and we don't have any pace data for Moravia because this will be her first start in North America after 4 tries in Ireland. She was privately purchased before her most recent start at Leopardstown. That was a Group 3 stakes race going 7 furlongs around a left-handed course. Leopardstown plays more, I think, American-style racing than a lot of the European horses. Moravia showed good tactical speed. She eased out in the stretch. It was a race where the favorite bombed, and at first glance you would think maybe the race wasn't strong at all. But the winner came back to win a Group 2 at the Curragh. The 4th place horse came back to win a listed race. I think that was a good race for Moravia, and while she's only sprinted thus far in her career, her dam won at a 1.5 miles on an all-weather surface, and her trainer Jorge Abreu does very good work. I think Moravia, she's not like a lot of these European horses that are flat-footed from the gate and show no speed. It looks like she's got some tactical speed, and it looks like she fits in this spot. The 10 is Fierce Scarlet, and in many ways she's the horse to beat for trainer Chad Brown. I really liked her career debut, going 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga. She was shuffled back at the start. She was forced wide all the way through the turn and into the stretch, and she was still in with a big chance with 3/16 of a mile to go before she was impeded by another runner that lugged out into her path. No surprise that she was able to win stretching out in her second lifetime start. She won in fast time with a 79 Beyer speed figure. She won very easily that day. Post 10, not exactly easy to win at Keeneland, but I think this filly has got some ability. She's got Chad in her corner, Arad Ortiz back for the mount. She's going to take money, 7-2 on the morning line, but she's a major contender. The 11 is Irish Willow. The dam is a half-sister to the graded stakes winning turf runner Cowboy Culture. Trained by Dale Romans, Irish Willow stretched out in distance, switched surfaces, and there was no problem at Ellis Park. And the fig improved 17 points to a 62. Irish Willow has some tactical speed, tough outside post though. Really, it's up to Robbie Alvarado to break sharply and avoid being forced wide going into the first turn. I think she has the potential down the road. This might be a case of too much too soon. The 12 is Espresso Shot, also trained by Jorge Abreu. This is a New York bred. The dam's a half to the grade 3 stakes winning dirt horse Mocha Express, as well as a nice turf runner. Espresso Shot ran well in her career debut sprinting on the turf, then won an off the turf race in very nice fashion at Belmont, going 1 mile and a 16th. So distance isn't a question. Love the fact that Flavien Prat takes this mount, an excellent turf rider in Southern California. Tough post for this New York bred. She steps up in class and faces open company for the first time. My Gal Betty, the number 13, can certainly win this race for the great Roger Atfield. Second in the grade 1 at Talma last time out, going a 1-turn mile at Woodbine as the favorite, beaten by a European entrant La Pelosa. She's a half to the grade 2 stakes winning turf horse So Long George. I am not worried about extra distance or 2 turns with My Gal Betty. She got a good pace in the Natalma to run into, but it appears she has some talent and she's slowly moving forward from a Beyer scale. But yet another horse with a tough outside post that's going to need to trip out. Completing the body of the field is the number 14, Monkey's Uncle. And Monkey's Uncle's a perfect 2 for 2. She won her career debut going 2 turns at Delaware and then cut all the way back in distance for the 6 furlong Salima at Laurel. She was up close to the pace in the 2-turn debut. In the sprint race, not surprisingly, she was farther back. And that was a good thing because there was a good pace on. Again, don't be too concerned about those fractions. It was very yielding going at Laurel. Monkey's Uncle got pace. She came with a good run. It appears she has some class and she's got a big pedigree. She is by Uncle Mo. The dam's a half to a grade 1 stakes winning synthetic horse, Last Full Measure, who was perfectly fine on the turf, but post 14, not easy to overcome for Monkey's uncle. Let's take a look at my top pick. Goes so many different ways in this year's Jessamine. I'm going to go with the European entrant Moravia. I like the tactical speed she showed in that group race in Ireland last time out, a race that's produced 2 next out winners. She's been in the country for a while now, seems well acclimated. Manny Franco takes the mount for Jorge Abreu, 4-1 on the morning line. I went 9, 4, 10, and 13 in Wednesday's race of the day, the Grade 2, a JP Morgan Chase Jessamine, part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. A win and you're in for the Juvenile Fillies turf. Good luck.